Hi and hello, my name is Dapo Olanipekun and I'm a musician. Okay, so in your mind, I'm sure you're thinking, hey, I can see piano, a guitar, a saxophone at my back. So that means you definitely, play a musical instrument to be a musician. So like, are you a pianist or are you a guitarist or are you a violinist or are you a saxophonist? Which one are you? So I'm simply just a musician. Right? I'm a musician, and that means I can function as such. So what does that really mean? I'm gonna break it down, okay? So there are three buckets that come together to form a musician, or three buckets that come together to define your level as a musician, right? So the very first one is relative pitch. You have this already. As far as you're a human being, you have some level of this already. That means you can interpret sounds. So that means if I'm humming see, you know the song I'm you know the song I'm trying to hum, right? Mary Had a Little Lamb, right? So and that's because you probably don't know this, but somewhere in your mind has stored well, you can actually analyze sounds. So at close to beginner level, I would say, not beginner level because that has a different definition by me. So you don't know this, but somewhere in your mind you can you're monitoring changes in those sounds. You can tell, or your mind, your brain can tell the interval differences between each of those sounds. So right, right, you're staying on a certain frequency there. Anyway, I think you get the idea. I'm gonna try to like just make this not so complicated, like you're in one of our class sessions already. So yeah, so that's relative pitch. That's why you knew it was Mary Had a Little Lamb without me saying Mary had a little lamb, right? Mary had a little lamb. So little lamb. Okay, man. Oh, so I'm in key of okay, am I in there? B flat, right? So also I was able to find the key in just microseconds. There's a way to go about that, right? When you enroll for Charis Music School's training. So yeah, that's the very first bucket, relative pitch, how well you can tell sounds with your ears. The second one is music theory, right? So you heard I said something the other time. I'm like, oh, I'm in B flat. See, so sounds actually, don't have, they're just frequencies, right? So we have 12 tone equal temperaments. That's what allows for the piano to be divided into 12 notes, right? And most musical instruments right now, but sounds actually just sounds. So what does that mean? If you're an Indian and Yoruba, Nigerian, and there's a Spanish person, someone from Spain, and a French person, all in the same room, we would not have to communicate our languages to each other, and we'll all be able to start making music. Amazing, right? Because of the power of sound. So sounds themselves are language. Okay, so music is a language, and the music being a language really talks more about the sounds. But of course we can add lyrics and sounds together, right? Then we have I would say lyricized music, right? Because music that doesn't have lyrics is still music. Right? Yeah, so that was music, no lyrics, right? You enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, so I knew you would enjoy it because I enjoyed it. So that doesn't have lyrics to it, but it's music because it sounds pleasing to the ears. So yeah, so Mary Had a Little Lamb, or right, another note here. So yeah, so those are just sounds, But then when I say Mary had a little lamb, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Now I've added lyrics, right? So so that's music, so that's relative pitch, right? You can tell the different sounds. Then music theory helps us to analyze those sounds. So yeah, that's relative pitch that we've gone through. So music theory helps us to relate those sounds, right? It helps us to communicate the sounds. So what that means is right? So the way we're going to communicate that what's going on there within the sounds that make up for that song is by, by using terminologies, right? Like for example, the major scale. So in the major scale of the key that I was playing, that I was singing that song in just now, right? We actually have the third degree. So third degree, second degree, first degree, second degree, third degree, third degree, third degree. Hopefully, if that makes sense, you get the idea. So across the major scale, which we build with whole, whole, half, whole, half, or tone, semitone, tone, semitone, which we can liken to mathematics as like one tone, one, half, one, half. Right, which of course my book Simplified Music, which is available on Amazon, talks a whole lot about in a very simplified manner. Oh, and there's Songbank as well for development of relative pitch, and simplified guitar as well for understanding of guitar from very, very simple angle or stringed instruments. Back to what I was saying. So relative pitch helps us analyze the sounds. Music theory helps us talk about the sounds we analyzed, right? So we can say we're in the key of B flat, we're in the key of G, we're in the key of D. So that sends an idea, that helps us to further communicate. Apart from the sounds, it helps us to further communicate how we can behave sounds wise. Music is sounds, sounds is the main thing, right? People don't ask you, hey, can you tell me how much music theory you know? People don't tell you, hey, can you talk, about the solfege of songs? People just say, can you play this song? Can you play that song? And that's the part where handling comes into place, right? So the very first two things I talked about, which is relative pitch, music theory, people really usually don't see that. But I would say that that's actually like, the foundation for the handling, which is the third bucket for a musician, right? The handling is the part that most people see and they say, hey, I want to like, can you play piano for me, right? Can you play this song on the guitar? Can you blow this song on the saxophone? You understand? Like you said, you're a saxophonist, so blow me this song on saxophone, right? So again, right, you have musicians that play the saxophone, right? As a result of this understanding, now you know the musicians that play the saxophone, the musicians that play the piano like I did, the musicians that play the guitar, the musicians that play the clarinet, right? But they're first musicians, and that means one of these three buckets they're using, or all of these three buckets rather, not one. You're always using, all the three buckets. So, and that then goes on to define how much have you developed, the three buckets, right? To determine your level of musicianship, whether beginner, intermediate, or advanced, and as some will add, maestro. So yeah, that's relative pitch, music theory. Then handling has to do with the particular musical instrument. If it's the saxophone, the piano, the trumpet, you're using those instruments to pour out what you heard, or what is on the inside that you're hearing in your mind, right? To play that out. And then you're using music theory to really explain to other people what you're doing, and also to explain to yourself, to build up better things while playing and improvising, right? So take for instance, you're doing something like yeah, so I used some music theory there, explaining what I could do while improvising, to myself, and with the promise to myself that it would come out good, as it did. Especially when I made the modal switch from ooh, right. So I just went a semitone up to the key that was a semitone above, where I was, which is like I'm in the key of A minor, specifically, but C major. So anyway, all these things we clarify in the classes, right? So you definitely should sign up for Charis Music School training if you haven't. If you're already a musician to an extent and you've been playing for years, if you've been handling for years, and you've not really developed, the music theory understanding, and you've not really developed your ears to recognize, sounds to a certain level, then you definitely need my training, right? It's gonna go a long way in writing, the wrongs that are probably in your musical foundation. You probably play a ton of instruments, but you don't really understand the connection, right, in those three buckets: relative pitch, music theory, then handling on the particular instrument, whether it's the voice you're using to handle, right? Da 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 da. Right? So can't wait something like that. Right? I'm not sure those were like the precise notes, but harmonic minor scale, music theory. See, I used the harmonic minor scale there. I'm explaining to you now what I used. Right? So if you also can't explain what you're using as a musician, but you feel it just sounds nice to be used, you probably have some of the problems I was talking about earlier. So yeah, I've been able to see more than 200 musicians through this unique approach of understanding music, and it's bettered their musicianship. It's really helped them to get to that next level in reality, like to actually be on the next level musically, right? Because if you check yourself, you score yourself in these three areas, most of you that think you're intermediate musicians or advanced musicians may really find out you're still beginner musicians. You just have maybe some of these areas super pumped, some of the three, right? And the three actually need to be balanced for take for instance certain songs in music. You really wouldn't be able to approach them without that understanding, right? Take for instance a song like Jan Steps, right? So sorry, I got carried away there. Music is life, right? And music is beautiful, and of course, that's why one of the reasons why you should join Charis Music School today. So if you would like to join Charis Music School, please contact in the description or anywhere around the screen where you can find contact to begin your musical journey today. If you've not started at all, which is best that you're starting this week, in my experience. But if you already started and you got it all wrong, like many of my students, which I know I was sad about before they came, but I was happy they eventually found the right place. So if you already started but you didn't start right, or you're just about starting, so please find contact in the description anywhere to start making musical progress the right way today, to fill up those 3 buckets the right way. There's a right way to do it as well. Now that you'll also be able to counsel other people that may be struggling musically and may not really be able to tell where exactly they are at on the musical journey. And yeah, a lot of people make that mistake. They they learn with sheet music and all of that, and play a bunch of sheet music while they're in their presence, while they play to shit that they can actually see, and they can't play to it if they don't see it most times. And even if they play that over and over and over again, they build the handling, and some part of like the relative pitch, but then the music theory is like lagging and they can't really explain everything going on. So yeah, and of course you should stop by Amazon to check out the books. It's gonna change your life abundantly, your musical life specifically. And I'm also the author of Simplified Life. You could check that out too. It's gonna change your mindset about life a whole lot. So please click contact anywhere around the screen and start making true and genuine musical progress today. My name is Dapo Olanipekun, once again, and I have more than, as of today, I have more than 20,000 hours in classroom teaching environment. So my method of training is extremely unique. It's quite rare to find, I would say, in my experience, and with the number of students that I've given several complaints about their previous learning experience. So this is the right place for you. There's no doubt about that. And also, yeah, I forgot to add, we teach with your favorite songs. So that means if you have a favorite song that you would actually like to understand music with, that's what we're actually going to use. Right? Not the songs that we know, because you can use any song to teach music. Literally, you can use any song to teach music. It's less about the song and more about how you're filling up, improving your ear development, relative pitch, music theory understanding, right? People don't see those 2 things, right? And then the handling, that's the actual holding of the instrument. And actually, after you go through what musical instrument at school 1, you should be able to navigate your way around any of the other musical instruments. You should, right? You should. With just maybe little guidance, perhaps, because instruments have different, like the alto saxophone that's here, the tenor that's there has a bit of nuances to it, just little stuff, right? But trust me, it's not as key as one of these 3, right? There are things that like just some 5-minute clarification would help with. So yeah, thanks so much for spending this time to listen to me talk, and please take action and move forward right away. There's only one lifetime that we have to understand music in those 3 buckets, and to solidify our understanding. And of course, if you're really, really passionate about music, you have a lot of music on the inside that's waiting to spread out to the whole world, this is a good channel to start that, to kickstart that. So please take action right away, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye for now.